The proposed new legislation comes in response to allegations of conflicts of interest involving Democratic Assembly members. Good evening, I'm Ryan Kennedy.
And I'm Kristen Remington. Thanks for keeping it here with us at 5:30. The Nevada Democratic Assembly Caucus says none of its members has been found to have violated ethics laws, and they are now pushing back as a group. Josh Minnie joins us here in the studio with a closer look. Josh.
Yeah, guys, CASAMA has proposed 3 bills that would require the Nevada legislature to adhere to open meeting laws, disclose conflicts of interest, maintain open calendars, and allow for a minimum of 72 hours for review prior to voting on the bills.
We're just passing things through. We don't have full vetting of them. We don't have full transparency.
The 3 bill draft requests were submitted on March 6th and endorsed by Governor Joe Lombardo. The idea is to give at least 3 days to review, give more daylight and input to the public, disclose member interests and relationships, and establish a line item veto power for Governor Lombardo to narrowly veto certain portions of a bill without having to veto that entire bill.
We should be able to know ahead of time any connection. It doesn't mean I wouldn't vote on it. I need to know. I need to know the connection. Some of them I certainly would not have voted on, knowing some of the connections, but some of them I still would. But why should we be afraid?
I reached out to the Assembly Democrats to ask if Speaker Steve Yeager and his caucus favor CASAMA's proposed transparency and accountability legislation. Their response is that CASAMA's move is hypocritical because they allege she failed to abstain from votes related to lowering housing and prescription costs, despite the fact that her daughter lobbies on behalf of both industries and her husband works in real estate. They say in part, quote, "Does she believe she should have abstained from votes involving legislation her daughter lobbied for or against, or regarding legislation that her and her husband stand to personally profit from? Under her proposed bill draft request, would she have been forced to abstain?" Unquote. Assemblymember CASAMA responded, saying in part, quote, "If Nevada Democrats believe, as we do, that all possible conflicts of interest should be disclosed by legislators, my proposals are the perfect way to address this issue," unquote.
Our legislature says that 120 days is not long enough for them to do the business of the people, so they need to exempt themselves from the open meeting law so that they can work faster. What this means, though, is it means the legislative session tends to be chaotic, that the public doesn't know what's going on, and then in the last 2 weeks, they suspend all the rules.
Yeah, and Speaker Steve Yeager says that in the scenario that Assembly Member Heidi CASAMA wins re-election, they will vet the bill once it's introduced and there is proper language to review. Covering the story, Josh Minnie, 2 News, Nevada.